Have you ever thought about what goes on behind the palace walls? The relationship between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein is one of the most shocking scandals in the history of the British royal family. In this video, we go into great detail about it. This story has it all, from secret talks to a terrible job interview that changed everything. What does this mean for the monarchy's future, though? There have been many scandals involving the British royal family over the years, but the one involving Prince Andrew, Queen Elizabeth II's second son, and his relationship with convicted sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein may have been the worst in recent years. This huge incident, which is still being talked about in the royal world and the media, has completely rocked the monarchy, ruined its image, and brought up troubling questions about Prince Andrew's character, actions, and relationships. The friendship between Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew. That's when Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein became friends. Since then, the media and the public have looked into their relationship in great depth. The prince said that Epstein, a rich businessman, was friends with a group of cosmopolitan politicians, academics, and business people. In a controversial interview with the BBC, Prince Andrew said that he had been to dinner parties given by Epstein, and that they had been to each other's homes more than once. But the prince has said that Epstein showed no indication of any wrongdoing when they were together, even though a lot of proof later showed that this was not true. For trying to get women to work for him, Epstein was found guilty in 2008 and given a plea deal that let him spend only 13 months in a Florida county jail. Many people thought Epstein could keep doing what he was doing without getting caught because of his light sentence, which also made people wonder about the high-profile ties that helped him stay safe. People were very interested in Prince Andrew's friendship with Epstein after the prince was criticized for staying at Epstein's mansion in Manhattan in 2010, not long after Epstein got out of jail. In spite of this, Prince Andrew kept working with Epstein until the financier was caught again on federal charges in 2019. When Epstein was caught in July 2019, people became interested in Prince Andrew's ties to the dishonest businessman again. After that, Epstein's death in a New York jail in August 2019, which was officially ruled as suicide, added to the mystery and rumors that he was involved in an international trafficking ring with some of the most powerful people in the world. Virginia Roberts Giuffre, one of Epstein's accusers, was at the center of the affair. She said that Epstein had sold her to Prince Andrew and that she had sex with him. His claims about Prince Andrew have been strongly rejected. Here is the famous BBC interview. People in the media were putting more and more pressure on Prince Andrew to do an interview with BBC's Newsnight in November 2019. He thought the interview would clear his name and put an end to the accusations, but it did the opposite. The 50-minute talk quickly turned into one of the worst PR moves in the history of the royal family. With his rude behavior and lack of understanding, the prince gave the image of someone who had lost touch with reality and had no care for the victims of Epstein's crimes. Many people didn't believe the prince when he tried to explain why he was friends with Epstein and said he had no recollection of meeting Giuffre. His explanations were at best clumsy. For example, he made the strange claim that he couldn't have been sweating during one of his claimed encounters with Giuffre because he couldn't sweat because of a medical condition. This claim was later laughed at as ridiculous. What was even scarier was that he didn't seem to care about the people who were being trafficked by Epstein. Any businesses or groups that had anything to do with Prince Andrew quickly cut ties with him after the interview. The incident quickly grew into a full-blown royal crisis, the fallout of the royal. As the criticism over the BBC interview grew, Prince Andrew had to remain out of public life for good with the Queen's approval. The Duke of York's fall from power was very public. He had been thought of as one of the most charming and approachable royal family members. But this wasn't the first time a king had been in trouble with the press because of a bad interview. The most noticeable similarity was between Prince Andrew and his older brother, Prince Charles, and an honest interview he gave to journalist Jonathan Dimbleby in 1994 that went badly. In the conversation, Prince Charles admitted to having an affair while married to Princess Diana. This changed how people would always think of him. The reactions to this conversation were strong, and they ultimately led to Charles and Diana's divorce, which was finalized in 1996. In a later interview, Diana said the famous line, "There were 3 of us in this marriage," which was a reference to Charles' relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. This made the drama even more well-known. It was a bad idea for Prince Andrew to talk about his private life in public, just like it was for his brother Charles. It was said that their father, Prince Philip, had never understood why his boys would talk about their personal problems in public. Not only did Prince Andrew's interview hurt his own reputation, but it also hurt the image of the royal family as a whole. It also started new debates about whether the monarchy is still relevant in today's world. There was a scandal among many. It's nothing new for the British royal family to deal with gossip. In fact, Prince Andrew's shame is just the most recent in a long line of royal scandals that have put the institution to the test over the last 100 years. Prince Edward, Queen Elizabeth II's uncle, gave up the throne in 1936 to marry Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee. This may have been the most famous scandal of the 20th century. It caused a constitutional problem because the British government and the Church of England strongly opposed Edward's choice to marry Simpson. The scandal also shook the monarchy. The resignation of Edward and the public's dislike of Prince Andrew are very similar. In both scandals, the royal family had to face uncomfortable facts about their personal relationships. The public's view of the monarchy was greatly affected in both cases. But while Edward gave up his throne because he loved her, Prince Andrew's fall is due to something much darker: his relationship with a known sex offender. The future of the monarchy. Since the Prince Andrew scandal, there have been concerns about the future of the British government and its capacity to handle such problems. In the past, the royal family has dealt with important problems like divorce, affairs, and even abdications. However, the Epstein link is especially harmful. There are claims of criminal behavior, sexual exploitation, and trafficking in addition to personal mistakes. As long as the royal family follows certain rules and stays a symbol of stability and continuity, the British people have usually been ready to forgive them for their personal flaws. Prince Andrew, on the other hand, has done something wrong, and it's not clear if he will ever be able to fix his image. He has stopped being seen in public for good, which seems to be an admission that his place in the royal family is no longer workable. The bigger question is whether the government can separate itself from this scandal. The royal family has mostly kept quiet about the issue, choosing to focus on better parts of their public image instead. However, the Epstein connection is still a stain that won't go away anytime soon. There are more and more people in the UK who don't think the monarchy should exist in a modern democracy. The Epstein scandal could be the end of the organization as a whole. There is no doubt that the scandal over Prince Andrew's friendship with Jeffrey Epstein has shook the royal family and hurt its image. The prince's public life has been harmed by claims of sexual abuse and trafficking, which started out as a friendship with a famous investor. This has become one of the biggest problems for the royal family in recent years. The long-term effects of this scandal on the monarchy are still unknown, but one thing is for sure: the Epstein connection will always be a dark part of the past of the British royal family. If you're fascinated by stories like this and want to stay updated on all the latest royal drama and breaking news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next.